Today I'm going to show you guys how to grow your own hot peppers or bell peppers right in your backyard or your front yard. Let me show you how we do it here in Pepperland. So I'm standing in the middle of our pepper field, and this year we decided to kind of go all out and grow about 2,000 different pepper plants, well 2,000 plants, all different types of varieties. When I'm talking about the varieties, I'm talking about jalapenos, I'm talking about anchos, habaneros, ghost peppers, California wonder bell peppers, all different varieties of peppers. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how we get things done on the farm and how you can do it also in your front or backyard, depending on what you're working with. In worst case scenario, you can even grow them in pots. That's right, I said pots. So right now we're in the greenhouse, and I'm going to show you exactly how we start our pepper plants from seed, and then we eventually move them out into the field. So you don't have to have a greenhouse to do this. You can do this in your own home. If you have a nice sunny window that preferably gets, east western sun, it'll work just as easily. Let me just kind of show you the basics first so you can kind of get an idea of how we do it from start to finish, okay? So let's get started. What you're looking at here is one of the trays that we use when we're starting our seedlings, and these are pretty small trays. They're only about an inch and a half or so deep, which is kind of nice because we don't use that much soil. And it saves quite a bit when it comes to the organic soil that we use to get everything started. Now, when you're talking about getting your seeds in here, just a good rule of thumb is however big the seed is, that's how deep you want to go into the soil. The other thing you can do is, they do have instructions on the back of these peppers or whatever you're planting. For example, you might be planting some melons, and we have these are some sugar babies that we're growing right now that we're getting ready to plant in the ground. We already have some in the ground, but these are kind of late coming. So and those are 50s, so these are a different tray, and these take up more soil, but for this particular thing, for the melons, we prefer using this. It just works really nicely. But for the peppers, you can go for something small like this. And then eventually, when we are pretty much ready to get this out of this particular stage, we transplant it into a bigger pot. And so something like this is probably, let me show you that, it's probably almost ready for transplanting. I'd probably say in maybe another week. Get it to about 3 inches high. Sorry if I'm not getting that in the view. So yeah, we want to try to get it about 3 inches high, and then you just transplant it into a bigger pot. So I'm going to show you that right now. When it comes to seed germination, be patient, because peppers are one of the longest taken plants to grow from seed. I would say at least 10 days. So be patient. It might take up to 2 weeks. Just be patient. Keep it watered. All right. Keep it warm in a nice humid place. Cover it up with plastic. It works perfectly, alright? So just be patient, it'll start growing. So these are one of the pots that we use when we transplant it, and as you can see, it's much bigger now. We're talking probably about 4.5 inches tall at this point. It's been sitting in this particular container, and this is about, I would say, maybe about 2.5, 3 inches wide, and about 3 inches deep, 3.5. And it works nicely. You can use 4-inch pots if you want to. It works just as well. We just like this because, again, it's a smaller pot. You use less soil, and you save a lot on money when it comes to that. And now from this stage, we do put them directly in the ground from these pots. So let me show you exactly how that's done, and some of the kind of fertilizers that we use to help give it that extra boost to get going. So let's talk spacing now. A good rule of thumb is that as far as peppers go, you want to space them out about 1 foot apart. but I find that you can get away with 10 inches and planting them side by side like you see here. So normally you might see just one row all the way down, but we decided to do 2 rows, and I think we're getting away with cheating on the spacing here, putting them about I would say 10 inches apart from side to side, and then going down the row I would say it's more like a foot apart, and you can see here they're all doing really nicely, so I got no complaints about this. Now the only thing I will say is that because we have really sandy soil, we do use some organic fertilizers like a chicken manure and some lime, because we have acidic soil, so it's something that we always put in there. So this is the lime we got working here. This is some chicken, and this is nicely dried. It's certified organic. Comes from a local chicken manure provider, and this actually comes from Purdue, and which is local here, and they do it, they cook it down. It is certified organic, and it's nice because we can pick it up locally, and it works really well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what I do first. So first things first, this is the hole. Okay, all I'm going to do is just start digging in here, and sometimes I would use a drill, but for this I'm just going to go ahead and just use this little shovel. A drill meaning that it just works a lot faster drilling in. I'll have to show you what that looks like. But yeah, and you basically want to go down as deep as the pod is. So you don't want to go too down far, because you don't want to bury this thing like that. Okay, you don't want to bury it from here. You want to bury it from here on down. It's not like a tomato where it needs to be really deep. So let me go ahead and put a little chicken in here. So got about that much, and a little bit of lime. Alright, and let's see if I can get away with using one hand here. And as you can see, we got good root structure that looks really nice. Go ahead and put it in there, put the soil around it. And the nice thing about these peppers is that they don't need staking for support. They are pretty strong, and they will support themselves. And I normally cut this plastic out. I usually just use a Gillette blade, and I just pretty much just cut a small X. That way I can open it. Now there is drip tape running underneath here. The drip tape is about 5 inches deep. This is how we irrigate. So if you don't have anything like that, just make sure you water immediately, and make sure you're good about your watering. Peppers do not like being watered too much. They do like being dried out a little bit, but just make sure that you don't let them dry out too much, because they will strain. You'll start seeing these leaves turn yellow, and you don't want to see that. So but yep, there we go. It's as simple as that. Alright guys, so now let's go check out some of the peppers we got growing, all the different varieties, so you can kind of choose whichever one you like. And if you're anything like me, I like it spicy, so yes, I'm definitely going to be growing some hot, spicy peppers. So if you like spicy peppers, your first option that you're most likely going to like will be the jalapenos. And right here we have some jalapenos growing that look really nice, pretty decent size. And these plants are pretty prolific. I mean, they will produce quite a bit. Now, if you don't like some of the spicy stuff, you're probably better off, you probably prefer the sweet bell peppers, which I'll show you in a minute. But let's go down here and see what other kind of peppers we got. So these plants are called anchos, or anchos. It basically just means thick in Spanish. And let me see if I can get that in the camera. Yeah, these guys grow pretty big. You know, the right size for picking. I mean, you're talking probably a good 6 inches or so, and they get, you know, at least I would say 3.5 inches thick, something like that, if you're getting a good one. And you're probably more familiar with these if you go to any of your Tex-Mex Mexican restaurants. You know, they cook a lot with these guys, and they stuff them and things like that. Now, if you're into making a good presentation, if you're making some stuffed peppers, this is an absolutely beautiful pepper. These are called Eco with an I-K-O, and they are really bright purple. They start off kind of yellow, like you see here, and then eventually they start getting that purpley stripy. Sorry, am I getting that in the camera? Yeah, so they start off like that. They start getting a little bit purpley, and you can see over there, that one's kind of the same, and then eventually it'll start getting a darker purple. I mean, these are just beautiful. I mean, I've seen chefs prepare these, stuff them. I mean, it makes a good presentation when you got it on the plate with a lot of different colorful vegetables. You know, you got some beautiful, you know, cherry tomatoes and things like that. But these are really good. They're not super big in terms of size, but they're still nice. The flavor is pretty decent. Still not my favorite. So these are the black beauties, and they are not really big in size, but again, the chefs love these types of peppers. They're pretty small, but man, look at the color. I mean, it's almost like a midnight. Let me see if I can get a good view for you guys. Get that in the sun. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be purple, but it's almost like black. I mean, it's like a midnight color. It's really beautiful. And as you can see, they're not that big. They'll get a little bit bigger than that, you know. Again, they're good for stuffing little, you know, bite-sized pieces, and just doing whatever you want to do with them. All right, guys, that's it for the peppers. Hope you guys are out there doing your thing, growing some stuff, supporting your local farmers market. Get some organic produce in your system. Yeah, buddy. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.